Deuteronomy chapter 30, right? This is what I call the gospel clause. It's been written to us from the beginning, since aforetime, right? Deuteronomy 30 and 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30 and verse 1. It shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse.
We're going to take it slow today. So after all these things come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, right? Let's deal with the blessings real quick. It's real easy for the black man at this point, with the state of technology and the knowledge that's running to and fro on the earth, to look back and see that in times of antiquity, he was a king on the face of the earth. He was of renown. He was respected. He had dominion over kingdoms. He could look back in times past and see that that was a thing that took place. But then fast forward 2022, he's wondering why he's under the curses that he's in. And he can't seem to comprehend that it's because he's partaking in a level of wickedness that the Most High God, Yahweh, had never condoned for his children. And because of that wickedness, it's been a weight around our ankles amongst this ocean of nations that surround us. And we sink and we sink and we sink to the bottom, to the point where we're trying to get it out of the muck with the crabs and the lobsters and the shrimps of the world, instead of roaming where we're supposed to roam, in the plateaus where we're supposed to have dominion over, right? So after these things have come to pass, the blessings, rulership, and the curses, the state that we're in now, right? What's going to happen next in the midst of the curses?
Which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations.
In the midst of the mud, we're supposed to be calling these things to mind, our past, and we're supposed to be reconciling it with our present. So hold that, and let me get Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Start with 1 and then skip to 15. All right? We're supposed to be reconciling our past with our present, looking back and saying, I used to be here, but now I'm here, and asking ourselves why. Well, the problem is we haven't been looking in the Bible for them answers. We've been listening to Pastor Porkchop, and we've been skipping over what's called the Old Testament, where the answers really lie at, right?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, that thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations.
So we see that there's a clause where the Most High God says, look, the contract is this. If you do everything that I command you this day, I'm going to set you on high above all the nations on the face of the earth. And there's a but in there. What's the but?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice.
If you won't hearken, if you won't listen diligently to the voice of the Most High God and remain attentive to his word to make sure that you're serving him to the T, go ahead.
If you will not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day.
How many of them commandments are?
To do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that I will cause curses. That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So we're supposed to be making sure our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, making sure that we are fulfilling every word that he has commanded of us. He said if we don't do these things, then all these curses are going to come upon us. So this is us reconciling that. We came from here above all nations on the face of the earth, and then we ended up here below all nations of the earth, cursed. Right, them curses, let me get verse 45 of Deuteronomy 28. Them curses was going to follow us from the point where we fall to this very day as a sign.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 46. And they shall be for thee for a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever.
So the curses would be on us for a sign and a wonder upon our seed forever, meaning that they would follow us. They would be generational curses. What's a sign for? It's to demark or denote what you're looking at, right? So when you want them Swisher Sweets, or when you want them Newports, or you want that chewing tobacco, and you see the smoke shop sign, you know that that's where you need to go. When you want to hear lies and have sweet nothings whispered in your ear about philosophies pertaining to the Most High that got nothing to do with the Most High, you want a pastor to lie to you, you know to look for a church building, right? The same way you need to understand it if you want to find the word of God, that you should open the Bible, the Holy Bible, the word of God out of the mouth of his prophets, right? The same way, is that these curses have been put on you blacks, Hispanics, you Native Americans, the one that suffered the transatlantic slave trade, the rape, robbery, and murder on a level that no other nation has ever seen before. You that have been stripped of your heritage, stripped of your language, stripped of your laws, right? And had other people's cultures imposed upon you. That has been set upon you as a sign to let you know that you're the Israelites. So let's go back to Deuteronomy 30, brother, unless you got a precept.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 6. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray.
Our people have been lost sheep because our shepherds have led them astray. So let's think about all the religious institutions that are on the four corners of the earth, right? Our people, we flock to these pastors, right? And all they tell us is the vanity that comes out of their own goddamn brain. They don't read the Bible. When you ask them questions about God, they hand you a pamphlet, they refer you to a website, or they just sell you a dream about prosperity in a land where you will seek peace and there shall be no peace. They lie to you and they tell you that it's your rest and that you can flourish and that the curses are gone. Right, go ahead.
They have turned them away on the mountains.
They turn you away and tell you to go to this mountain and that nation and that nation.
They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place.
So in our travels, in our hunt for some new religion somewhere, some new foundation, we become lost on these hills amongst these religious institutions. Looking to all these fake leaders, all these people who the Most High God have not appointed to us, right? And we perish still because of it. What's Hosea say? My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Bring that out, brother. I know you got it. This brother be shooting from the hip with all accuracy.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
My people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. The black man is destroyed for lack of knowledge, right? He thinks he's a God body. He thinks he's a Baptist. He thinks he's a Lutheran, a Jehovah's Witness. He thinks he's a Muslim. He thinks he's all these things. He thinks he's a Buddhist. He thinks that if you wear a crystal around your neck, it's going to channel the energies. He thinks that if you touch his chakras the right way, you're going to stimulate his kundalini and elevate him to a level of enlightenment. He thinks all these vain things. Read that again, huh?
My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
The Hispanic man is destroyed for lack of knowledge. He don't understand that Jesus Christi gringo is el diablo, right? He don't understand that Jesus Christi no blanco. Jesus Christi is moreno. He don't understand that though. He is destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Let me hear that again. I
was on this earth once. No question who the owner of this turf was. Turf wars against Cain until Yahweh crushed them. But we forsook the holy covenant like we ain't one of them. So when the nations